YouTube world, back at it once again. Instant Classic 8. Here with quick thoughts on tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. This was episode 150. This is from Charleston, West Virginia. Couple weeks out for AEW All Out, and I thought tonight was a tremendous episode of Dynamite. They opened with a very strong promo. CM Punk coming out talking cash to Hangman Page out of nowhere. That's very interesting to hear that. But obviously he was building up his match with Jon Moxley at All Out. Jon Moxley came out, and Punk was playing a little bit of a heel in this, and Jon Moxley came out, and he was talking, and they were going back and forth, and crazy brawl. Not really crazy, but they had a brawl at the beginning of the show. And again, I thought it did a really good job with talking people into the building, talking people into wanting, if they didn't want to before, into wanting the pay-per-view. It was definitely interesting. They came back and revisited this later on in the show. I think at like around the second hour, like the top of the hour. They had like another little brawl. They came out to the ring and had another brawl, and come to find out, what we thought was going to be the main event of AEW All Out, which is in 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks probably. Jon Moxley versus CM Punk, the unification match, is next week on Dynamite. What? I am still in shock. I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't think you can get a bait and switch. They did this last year. When it came to Kenny Omega and Christian Cage. And Christian Cage, they had a match on the debut of Rampage, and then they had another match at All Out in the main event. But there was another championship that was kind of involved with that one, but I have no idea what they have planned with this. Maybe Punk can't go and wrestle in that main event, and because he's still somewhat limping. Like, you saw him tonight, and again, I don't know if he was playing it off, but you could see him when he was cutting his promo. He was walking around the ring, and he seemed like he had a noticeable limp. So I don't know if Punk, if he's not able to go and they just want to go ahead and just get the belt off of him, or I don't know if this is a situation where you're going to bring in MJF. And it's very interesting what they have going on, where all of this is going to lead to next week on Dynamite into the pay-per-view. Yeah, very, very interesting turn of events for tonight. Again, I didn't see it coming. I'm still in shock that they announced that match for next week, but best believe I'm excited to see it for sure. They had a 2 out of 3 falls match, Daniel Garcia versus Bryan Danielson. Tremendous match. Very, I wouldn't say rarely, but I don't watch the picture-in-picture a lot when they go to the commercial break, just because it's, you got a Domino's commercial or State Farm commercial in the background. It's just like I can't concentrate on whatever's going on. But for this match, I was locked in completely. And I think that if you have watched this match, or if I had a chance to watch this match on like Fight TV or Fight, what do they call it? AEW Plus, where you basically have no commercials and it's just a match straight through, I think I would have enjoyed it even more. But I thought this match was tremendous. I thought this was a really, really good match. I was thinking that they would have a chance to rival the Will Ospreay Tetsuya Naito match that we saw earlier today in the G1 semifinals. I don't know if it was as strong, or it might have been, but it was a tremendous match, and Bryan Danielson ended up winning 2 falls to 1. They had Daniel Garcia kind of showing a little of like turning on the Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho came down to the ring, and didn't seem like Garcia was really into anything that Jericho was saying. And I feel like this is probably going to lead to Jericho versus Danielson. But again, this match was absolutely tremendous. They had the Ass Kids versus the what's those boys' names called? The Varsity Blondes. Brian Pillman Jr. sucks. Yeah, just split them apart. Let Griff Garrison go in his own. But either way, this was very short, which was great. There was a whole thing where the Ass Kids turned on Daddy Ass, I don't know these guys' names anymore, with Billy Gunn, turned on Billy Gunn, which came out of nowhere. It's surprising that we've seen the Ass Kids turn on their dad before Dom Mysterio turns on his, even though that's the one that's been kind of in the works for a very long time. But they turned on him. The Acclaimed came out for the save, and they are now back with Billy Gunn. Neat moment, but didn't really need it on the show. Colin King versus Tony Storm. Tony Storm beat Colin King. I like Colin King a lot. I like Tony Storm as well. They're going to go Tony Storm versus Thunder Rosa at the pay-per-view and definitely let Tony Storm win that belt. I think it's time to get that off of Thunder Rosa. And then the main event, you had Ryu Lee and Andrade and Rush versus the Young Bucks and the returning Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega wore a compression shirt the whole match. He was selling, and you hope a lot of that stuff is selling. But I thought he did a really good job, and this match was awesome. They did a lot of crazy stuff, especially with Kenny Omega in his first match back, and I love the fact that they, Kenny wasn't on point. He wasn't like the best that I've been or better than ever. Like, he had stumbling blocks, and he had to find his groove and everything, and I enjoyed that a lot. And they ended up winning the match. Weird angle at the end with Andrade and Rush and Ryu Lee. They took his mask off. It was just very strange. But either way, this show was tremendous, and we didn't get a ton when it comes to All Out. But when you have learned Tony Khan's his booking style, when it comes to the pay-per-view and the matches that are given, we don't hear the stuff out until probably like 2 weeks, even like the week before, and honestly, I'm fine with that. They've sold tickets to the building. I mean, they still have a decent amount for the pay-per-view with those combo tickets, but those are end up going to go once they go on sale single. So they will go, and no one buys pay-per-view in advance. No one pre-orders the pay-per-view. So I don't mind them announcing the majority of the stuff, 2 weeks out or so. And again, I think this is going to be a really fun couple of weeks leading into the pay-per-view. But next week, holy crap, Moxley versus Punk. I have no clue what's going to happen. If you have any ideas, let me know what you think. Until then, I am Mr. Classic 8. Peace.